If you could change anything about the way you were raised, what would it be?
So, I am a female in this society, thus stricken by the awful things people or society has made women think in said society, especially American society, but I think it's all over the world. My mom was also encountered by the body image phenomena of not being good enough, which if my mother is watching this, I don't blame you because it's a hard thing to get out of the mindset of. I'm still working on it, but a lot of the times growing up, my mother would be very much like commenting on either her body or like our body, saying like we need to exercise more. We can only buy the Wii if you use Wii Fit. It was very much of like that perspective. And I kind of grew up thinking if I don't look a certain way, I'm not good enough, which definitely sucked. But now that I'm in my place that I am now and I'm looking at today's children, I hope that they have it a lot better because we have a lot more representation in media of bigger bodies and not like all just thin bodies, which are also good. Just we need a range of like different bodies in media, especially for females, also for guys as well. So I hope that this problem is going away. It's always been a problem throughout the entirety of American culture. I'm hoping that it's going to slowly fade away into non-existence because it sucks. It sucks to hate yourself over something that you can't control. I'll walk by the fitness models of the mannequins that have no life in their
Mhm.
eyes. You've got some bigger gals up there, and I'm just like, yes, they're doing it. Target's been pretty good about that. It's really hard, especially for younger kids. They don't have the free range of the internet
Mhm.
because they're not trusted with it, which is understandable because there's a lot of bad things on it. But also there's some good things on the internet as well, which is like people sharing their stories about them being different and them being like special and viewed differently. But if they don't have like access to those stories, if people like if their parents don't go out of their way to find them, they can feel really isolated in how they look or how they feel at times. So I think all people should be given the chance to share their story and make people who are like them feel less isolated in their body and in their life. Representation is so important.
Take 4 minutes and tell me your life story in as much detail as possible. Are you ready?
Ha! Sure.
All right, starting the clock now.
Okay. Um, I was born in the Bellflower Kaiser, and I grew up in a lovely white suburban home in Lakewood, California. Um, should I be putting this information out of the on the internet? Who knows? Um, Social security number. My childhood was fantastic. I would argue maybe a little too fantastic, but my dad worked for the movies. He was a prop maker. Which was super cool because every night coming home from the set, he would bring me and my sister animal cracker cookies, and I loved that. Um, and he would take, the family off on a bunch of, like, trips to go visit trains, go to Joshua Tree because they have a train museum there, and that was basically, like, my second home, and I loved it so much. Spending too much time on my childhood. Um, I loved my childhood, insert into, middle school, uh, body issues galore, it's great. I auditioned for every single play and musical that I could get my hands on. Barely made it into any through the first 3 years of my, high school experience, but my teacher liked my chutzpah. So she was like, "Just keep on you keep on auditioning and eventually you're gonna get something," and that really stuck with me. So, when everyone was just like, "Are you sure you wanna be an actress?" I'm just like, "I'm just gonna keep on trying and eventually I'll get something if I want it enough." And that's worked out pretty well for me. All you need is dedication. That's not my life story. Continuing, high school passed without a glance for me. Um, I don't remember most of it. I do remember my senior year because I joined cross country that summer. I had a fantastic time. I actually felt good about my body for once in my life, because I was running like 5 miles a day. Uh, but it was great. I had my first boyfriend, the start of my senior year. My life was a blooming flower. I was the track captain. I had the lead in the play. I had my own little segment in the musicale, and I had a great part in the musical. My life was fantastic. I go to college. College barely happened. I went there sometimes for school, not for much else. Um, got a job at Delhi. I worked there for like 4 months. I hated it. And then nearing the end of my work there, I met this lovely girl who would come to the deli, uh, and she would always wear her Pixar Pier costume. And I said, "Oh, you work at Disneyland. Do you like it?" And she was like, "Yeah, they're hiring a bunch of people right now. You should go look at that." And I was like, "Maybe I should." So I was like, "Okay, world, if you don't want me to work here, let me like give me a sign." And so I lost my ID card. I lost my name tag. I was late. I missed things. This was not on purpose. This was just me being a complete mess in the world saying like, "Hey, you need to get out of here." So I auditioned. I interviewed for Disney and they were like, "Hey, I have this job on the spot. You want to work in attractions?" And I was like, "Oh boy, do I." So I got placed in Fantasyland Attractions, which is where I work. Can't find me if you don't know what I look like. Still shouldn't be spreading these details about myself on the internet. um, um, also, Disneyland is not open as of now.
And that's
And
time.
that was close enough to the current day, I think. That's my life story.
If you could wake up tomorrow, have gaining any one quality or ability, what would it be?
So I was originally thinking of this because I wrote down all of the ideas of my answers, and I started with the ability to wake up and do the things I want to do. And I was like, that's just the absence of depression and anxiety. So wake up and be able to not be stressed or anxious about the future and be able to actually like do the things I want to do and get my work done, if that makes sense. A
Oh, it
lot of
does.
times I'll wake up and I'll like sit, lay in bed, think about what I want to do. And then maybe I'll pop into my recording booth and I'll try some stuff out. And then I'll say, oh, I've got to go make dinner now. And then I won't really get anything done. So the ability to actually do things, also the ability to look at other people's successes and not feel jealous that I haven't succeeded yet. That's a good answer. Yeah, I'll take that one. Good
Right?
job, Emily. I'll go on Twitter a lot, on the voiceover Twitter, because I'm trying to put myself out there, make myself into a brand. But it's of a lot of people, and they're all very talented and successful, and I love that for them. But I'll see their tweets, and they'll be like, "Oh, just finished my recording session at the studio on my sixth TV show," and I'm just like, "Oh wow, I wish I could do that." I think it's mostly quarantine that my anxiety has flared up, as of I assume a lot of other people's have, because I reflect people's energies back onto them, which is really helpful, especially at Disneyland, because everyone's happy all the time. If you guys didn't notice, um, but everyone's having a good time, and I love my job because everyone's just like really happy all the time, and that means I can be really happy too. And I just get so much energy from my cast members that I'm just like, yeah, I want to be a really good lead for you guys. But when I'm just sitting alone in my bed, I'm just staring at my ceiling like, what am I gonna do today?
Kind of funny that combo of anxious extrovert. That's how you get fueled.
I am very good at having conversations with people who are introverted and who don't want to talk because I like worm my way into their shell and I make them feel like comfortable, which is why I like meeting all of the new kids at Fantasyland. And I'm also comfortable talking when being talked to, but I will not start conversations with people who I do not know. Especially when I was new in Disneyland, I would always sit by myself in the break room, which a lot of new kids do that because they don't know anyone. I did not want to talk to anyone. I would sit in the corner by myself. But if like someone would come up to me and like talk to me, I'd be like, "Love Mickey Mouse." And I just that was great, grand old times. I'm very energetic when I have someone to work off of. It's like being in a play. When you have an actor to send and receive action with, it's a lot easier than just starting a scene. A one actor show where I'm just standing there, single spotlight on a chair, talking about the Great Depression.
In American history or just your depression?
Both equally work.
If a crystal ball could tell you the truth about yourself, your life, the future, or anything else, what would you want to know?
If the actions I'm making currently right now will lead me into a happy future. I don't wanna know what I'm doing in the future because that's too much information. I just wanna know if I'm happy doing it. Because if I'm happy, then I know I've succeeded in life. That's pretty much all I want to be. Some Beatles said, maybe this could be a quote or not, when asked, "What do you wanna be when you grow up?" And they were like, "I wanna be happy." I think a Beatles said that. Not sure. Could look that one up. I won't. I wanna be happy in the future, and I wanna know if I'm going to be happy. I don't care about anything else because I sort of believe in a form of fate where things are gonna happen and just let them happen and everything will sort itself out. But is fate going to be kind to me is what I wanna know. One of the big reasons I gravitated towards voice acting, unless you're doing like a live in-person audition, you never really see who you're up against. And
Hmm.
also, one of the main mentalities that I was taught during my classes is it's not your voice that they don't like. It's that you didn't fit their brand they're looking for. You can go into a million auditions and not make any, and that's okay because it's not your fault. It's just you weren't right for it. And then eventually one day you'll find the brand that is like, yes, you are the person I want. So it's not so much on, am I not doing it right? Am I not pretty enough? Am I not thin enough, blonde enough? It's more so just like I did my best and now I just forget about it unless they call me.
It's got nothing to do with your skill set. Project's looking for just a puzzle piece. It's not that you're not a good enough piece, it's just not the right piece for this particular thing.
Entertainment is a fickle business.
Is there something that you've dreamed of doing for a long time? Why haven't you done it?
I've always dreamed of being Barbie in a Barbie movie, her voice. Why have I not done it? Well, many things. Entertainment is a fickle business. I don't have an agent. I am fresh out of college and I just haven't done it yet. I'm still planning to. It's either Barbie or Nancy Drew that I want to voice because those are my main inspirations in life. And I hope one day eventually I will get to it.
I think there needs to be like Barbie Nancy Drew.
Crossover. Barbara Drew. Nancy Roberts.
Is Barbie's last name Roberts?
Yes. Barbie Millicent Roberts. You're welcome. Ken's name is stupid. His name is Kenneth Sean Carson. That's stupid. We're gonna give him 3 first names. That's how you can tell he's white.
Like all the serial killers and stuff like that with 3 first
Oh,
names.
yeah. Has Ken killed someone? We haven't seen him not.
I've been finding body parts all around
Been
the
finding
nursery.
weird Barbie heads. Ken has those bloody hands. I don't know what he's doing. Every time I look away from him, he moves. It's so weird. Don't worry, dear. It's just a bad dream. Just look away.
What is the greatest accomplishment of your life?
It's not so much putting myself on a pedestal. It's more so I don't have enough confidence to see when I've done a good thing. I know that I've done accomplishments. I'm
Mhm.
aware. But the greatest accomplishment, because there's people that are like out there trying to cure cancer, and I'm just like, I'm a lead at Disneyland. I am going to say there are little accomplishments along the way, but they do form into a bigger accomplishment, which is every time I make magic for the family at Disneyland, they actually really appreciate it. One of my favorite stories that I like to tell people who ask me if I like my job because they believe I don't for some reason. Apparently, we're there for the money. It was raining, so we were having a meet and greet with Flynn and Rapunzel inside of the Fantasy Fair Royal Theater area. There was a line outside for people waiting to meet Flynn and Rapunzel, and we were just about to close off the line, but the outside line was still pretty long, so I knew I was gonna have to break a couple of hearts. The fair maidens came up to me and they were like, yeah, Rapunzel's gotta go back to her tower. And I was like, oh, gotta go disappoint some people. So I was about to go do that. And then this family like calls me over and they're like, Emily. And I was like, hi, how's it going, children? And they were like, we were on your boat yesterday. You told us a story. And I was like, oh my God, you
Aw.
remember that? And so that was like, oh, so sweet. And they're just like, yeah, you did a really good job. And I had a lovely conversation with them. They were from the Midwest and they were here having a grand old family vacation. I asked them if they got to do everything they wanted to do. And they said, oh, not yet. We are on our way out, actually. And I was like, did you do everything you want to do in Fantasyland? And they were like, we rode most of the rides except for Peter Pan. So I was about to give the big news to everyone in the line. And I was like, hey guys, stay here. So I told everyone else that Rapunzel and Flynn had to go back to Corona, not catch the virus, stay in their castle, and they stayed. And I got their autograph books. I handed it to one of my cast members and I said, "Can you get Flynn and Rapunzel's autographs for them, please?" And so I led them over to Peter Pan and I put them on Peter Pan and they were so happy. And I said, "Okay, after you come out, come and visit me at the Royal Theater and I'll give you your autograph books, which have Flynn and Rapunzel's autographs in them." And then they came back. I handed them their books. They were so happy. They were so excited. And then the dad said, "Okay, girls, get close to Emily. We're going to take a picture." And I was like, "Oh!" So I'm in someone's scrapbook. That is my favorite story. And I love my job. That is the main reason I love my job. My greatest accomplishment in my life is just making people happy. If I can make someone happy or make someone's day better, I know I've done my deed for the day. It just brings me so much joy to see people smile. I do miss my job, but I want to
Right.
go back when it's safe. As soon as you learn how to put your mask over your nose, then we'll
Mhm.
start talking.
What do you value most in friendship?
In a friendship, I value honesty and loyalty, as My Little Pony has taught me. I think honesty and loyalty are a very important part in any friendship because, personally, for me, if anyone starts talking shit about my friends, I will pop off and I will not physically hurt you, but I'll be very mad and passive aggressive about it. I just feel like if that was me, I would like the person to do the same thing. Knowing someone has my back and I have theirs, like no talking behind people's backs, just upfront conversation would be fantastic in a friendship. I don't care if I haven't seen you in a year and a half. As long as you're a good person and we'll hang out once 2 years, that's fine. I'm gonna still meet you and greet you like you never left. You can say whatever shit you want to say to my face. I do not care what you say about me because I'll be sad for a little bit and then I will not care. But if you say something about my friend, oh, it's on. You are dead to me. I don't like it when people are mean to my friends. I will smack down.
What is your most treasured memory?
I always come back to, I think I was either 5 or 6. I was in my front yard. It was the 4th of July. We had a large tree, and on that tree, we hung a swinging bench. So I was sitting on the bench, and then my parents were like over there popping off fireworks, doing their thing. And then my sister sat next to me. We didn't say anything. That was the moment that I just like felt the sisterly connection. We
No.
had just fought before, but she still like sat next to me, and I was just like, "Oh, okay. You're my sister, and we love each other no matter what." I don't remember much other than that moment. I remember feelings more than like how I felt during that moment more than the specifics of it. I just remember feeling a great sense of love and appreciation for my sister. And then it went all downhill after that. No, just kidding. We did fight a lot in our childhood. We've mellowed out now that we don't live in the same room anymore, which is appreciated. But that moment of my sister doesn't hate me. She's always going to love me no matter what. And also there's like fireworks in the sky and it was really pretty. That's my most treasured memory.
What is your
My
most terrible memory?
most terrible memory. So, I have never thought I was claustrophobic, but I learned I was in the worst way. My whole family was in Northern California. They were scouting out places to live. They wanted to move up north. And then my mom thought it'd be fun if we would like check out the sights, do some sightseeing. And she was like, "Do you guys want to go spelunking?" And I was like, "I love spelunking. Sure, why not? I've never done it before, but I've seen Nancy do it." So Nancy drew. So I can do it too. But going down into the cave was fine. And it was like this big, giant cave. And I was like, I can do this. This is fine. And then we had another thing that additional to the tickets of the just the spelunking was like a tour of the cave system. And I was like, okay, this is fine. I'm okay. Our guide took us into this little room and she was like telling us all about this. And I was like, oh, this is neat. This is cool. And then we started going through the small tunnel system, which I am asthmatic. I was already having problems breathing throughout this trip. So I had my inhaler on me. And it was the instructor, another girl, my sister, and then me right behind my sister. And we were all in like single file, lying down on our hands and knees, crawling through this tunnel. And for a moment, my sister was out of view sight. And I was just like, I am alone. I am going to die down here. I need to leave. I just started panicking. I had a panic attack, which I didn't know what it was at the moment. But I was just like, Mom, I need to leave. I've got to go. And luckily, there was an exit up to the regular cave, like right behind me. So we just had to ask everyone to like back out and go up. But my brain was just like going through all of the possibilities of what if there's an earthquake? What if the cave collapses in? What if I'm stuck here forever? What if I never see anyone again? What if the lights turn off? I should have probably realized then that I had anxiety, but it took me a while. Luckily, we like climbed up to the top of the cave and then we exited out. And I like told my sister, I was like, I'm leaving. I don't like it. And she was like, what? And I was like, I don't want to be here. And she's like, okay. Well, the rest of the tour continued. Me and my mom popped up, and then like 45 minutes later, she came out and she was like, that was so much fun. And I was like, I hated it. Never want to do that again. And that memory haunted my nightmares for a good 2 or 3 years after that. I think I was 13 or 12. So I was just like, I'm claustrophobic. That's a fun thing to know about me now. I figured out I was claustrophobic. Fear of small spaces where I can't see anything or move my body.
You just seem like the optimist. Cool. This is an easy place to die. Just throw the dirt over. And,
This is efficient. We're already in the earth. We're gonna
Right.
become nutrients.
oh, thank God I died down here. Oh,
Yeah,
it'd be such
no
a
one has to-
task if I was on the
no one-
15th floor of a building.
No one's got to bury a hole. I'm already in one. Yeah, we're fine. We're good. And like the funny thing is, because my dad loves trains, he's Mr. Train, we would always stay in a Pullman car whenever we were like up visiting a train museum. And Pullman cars, their hallways are very narrow. I assume me now would probably be able to like put one of my elbows out and I would be able to touch the wall with my shoulder and my elbow. But I guess since I was like 5 or 7, the width didn't really bother me. After that whole experience, I was like, how did I not have a panic attack in the Pullman car